This game is addictive. It's your typical tycoon game about making as much money as possible, but it's all about developing games. You create your own engine and pick the platform you want to release on and target your audience. What's cool about it is how it follows gaming's history from the fall of the Commodore 64 up to the release of the PlayStation 4. I like being able to tweak your development areas depending on what kind of game you're making, and seeing the review scores come in gives some semblance of what actual devs go through. The game does lack some conveyance, like which engine features benefit what genres, but it's not hard to figure out if you're a gamer. I like all the ties to the real world, like finding a way to do digital distribution or making publishing deals with companies like Activision or EA. It's simple, but it's really enjoyable and absolutely worth the $8. It's alright. Papers, Please is a game where you work at a border security checkpoint. People come in, you check their papers, and you make sure everything is ordered to see if they can go across the border or not. The game does a good job of constantly giving you new things to check and elevating the gameplay, making it more difficult later on to not make mistakes. While the gameplay is simple, the joy comes from that it tests your competence and your thoroughness, because if you ever screw up, it's your own damn fault. The game gets much more interesting once you start having to deal with terrorist attacks, sob stories, and dealing with a secret organization for personal gain. There are 20 different endings depending on some of the small choices you make, so there is some room for replayability. But as intriguing as it is, it's not fun enough for me to want to play through it multiple times. But it certainly is a unique experience.
A first impressions review on the game on whether or not it's worth a buy at its current state. So the question is, should I get it? Well, after spending some time with the game, it looks very, very promising, and it is kind of living up to the hype. Anyway, getting into the actual gameplay, the game features a crafting and scavenging mechanic, which is the whole basis of the game. You can swim underwater, interact with wildlife such as sharks and crabs and fish, as well as look for objects underwater and in shipwrecks. As far as objects go, you can harvest sticks from trees, rocks, get rope from small yucca trees, and get palm leaves to make beds, roofs, and campfires. In chests you find underwater or in shipwrecks can contain flares, goggles, hammers, tools, and food. It is visually pleasing with very nice graphical touches such as water reflections and shadow casting.
Now, first thing you got here is the career. Now, the career you can do basically little missions where you can progress in your driving school up to driving school student, novice, and experience. I haven't done too many of these because I can't really be bothered, but yeah. And this is the one you really want, is free driving. This allows you to drive all the way around the world and basically just have fun messing around. Now, the first bit is where you start off, the starting point. Now, you've got all these places where you can start off. Test track, old district, modern district, motorway, highway, country road, southern district, mountainous area. These are all really cool places to cruise around on. They all link up into another, so all you're choosing is just where you want to start, but you can go anywhere in the map because they all link together. So it's quite a cool thing, clear and daytime. And then now here's the time and weather. You can choose all of your time and weather, which is really cool. So the time you can have clear, humid, foggy, rainy, and the weather can be daytime. Well, I suppose that's time, isn't it? That's weather. Clear, humid, foggy, and rainy is weather, and the time is day, evening, night, and morning. Those are all the weathers you can choose. And then the traffic, which is so cool. This is one of the best things I've ever seen on a game. It really is. You can choose your traffic, your vehicle traffic density.
This real-time strategy game wraps its irreverent wit around some easily approachable mechanics that smartly grow in complexity as you move through the ages and become more acquainted with your new, since you don't actually start as El Presidente in the beginning. Instead, Tropico 5 starts you off as just a lowly governor in the Victorian era under the service of the Crown. From these humble beginnings, you must guide your people through World War II and the Cold War and beyond. Each age brings with it a new set of challenges as your tiny island nation is sandwiched between the world's rotating superpowers. But as your trusted advisor says, it is your will alone that is holding Tropico together, and that means doing anything and everything necessary to stay in office. Role as El Presidente.